Alles nur, um ihre Hegemonialansprüche für den globalisierten Kapitalismus durchzusetzen. Und da stehen wir heute. Die US-Armee hat heute schon mehr als 100.000 Soldaten mit posttraumatischem Stresssyndrom. Wie heilen wir Menschen, die nicht durch das, was man ihnen zugefügt hat, sondern durch das, was sie anderen zufügen mussten, traumatisiert wurden? Weil ihnen gelehrt wurde, jede Grenze zu überschreiten. Solche Menschen werden zu Tötungsmaschinen, weil sie alles, was furchtbar ist, mit System lernen mussten. Mit Gefühllosigkeit, mit Zerstörung jeden Mitleids. Und dann kommen solche Menschen aus Kriegen nach Hause, die von all dem, was sie tun sollten und tun mussten, kein Wort mehr sagen dürfen, weil es geheim ist. Die Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika marschieren unter dem Mäntelchen Freiheit und Demokratie zu bringen in sogenannte Schurkenstaaten ein, indem sie behaupten, diese Staaten hätten Massenvernichtungswaffen. Ist ein solches Land aber nicht selber ein Schurkenstaat, wenn es einen Angriffskrieg mit Uranwaffen führt, die sich nun immer mehr auch als Massenvernichtungswaffe herausstellt, weil sie noch viele Jahre nach ihrer Anwendung die Menschen, die dort leben, sterbenskrank macht und die Umwelt kontaminiert. Und so etwas liest man hier bei uns in keiner Zeitung und man erfährt es auch nicht aus den TV-Medien, weil das Thema Uranmunition und die Folgen ein Tabuthema geworden ist. Denn nicht die vielbeschworene Klimakatastrophe ist die unbequemste Wahrheit, nein, die unbequemste Wahrheit sind die furchtbaren Folgen der Uranmunition.
Revolution ist nicht ein kurzer Akt, wo mal irgendwas geschieht und dann ist alles anders. Revolution ist ein langer, komplizierter Prozess, wo der Mensch anders werden muss. Es gilt erstmal, ein Bewusstsein des Missstandes zu schaffen. Jetzt nicht gleich zu fragen, gib doch die Antwort. Ein Dutschke will keine Antwort geben, das wäre genau wieder das wäre genau die manipulative Antwort, die ich nicht zu geben bereit bin. Denn was soll es bedeuten, als Einzelner Antworten zu geben, wenn die gesamtgesellschaftliche Bewusstlosigkeit bestehen bleibt? Die muss durchbrochen werden, dann können Antworten gegeben werden.
I'm sick of this, and I'll tell you why I'm sick of it, because while these pathetic, naive people, despite all the evidence before them, are looking the other way, oh no, it's just paranoia, while they're doing that, they are allowing these people to impose their will on my children and my life, and I'm not having it. And if people would just engage a few more brain cells, open the eyes and look, they will see the scale of fascism, no other word for it, that we are being subjected to today. And if you don't wake up and you go on looking the other way, well, the fascism just gets more, and eventually it will dawn on you, and by then it will be too late. Don't look to me for sympathy when it happens, mate, because you got your chance now.
David,
not being asked for your opinion.
David, what's the best way for us to try and hack this matrix of stupid lies? Because I try my best every day to try and hack it.
What's the solution? Well, we have to communicate information to the point where people become aware. There's two things happening now. First of all, the information at the background, the connections is getting out, and on the other side, it's mirroring reality more and more. Because I said years ago that there would come a time when all that's been hidden would come to the surface. It has to. You know, if you're manipulating an agenda to change society,
the truth will out.
There comes a point where that society starts to manifest. It has to. In other words, all that's been manipulated under the surface comes to the surface where you can see it. And that's starting to happen. And I'm finding anyway now that talking about the other background to what's going on, as opposed to the movie that we're seeing here, is much more easy to get across because people can see it. you know.
Instant access to the information as well.
Yeah. People are much more aware in larger numbers that all is not as it seems, far more aware than people realise. And it's happening all over the world. But what we've got to do is turn that into non-cooperation. If people wanted to make a statement in this election that they're not having it anymore, then they could have done it without doing anything. Just don't go to the polling station.
Expose the illusion.
And then all these characters around here would in the media would have been focused on what the heck has happened here.
Why does no one believe in it anymore?
The number of people voting has collapsed. That would focus. Well, so why? Because it's a sham. That's why. But instead, people trot along in a majority anyway, and they put their vote in, they play the game, and then the game consumes them for another 4 or 5 years. We've got to stop cooperating, and we can do it in the most simple way. Stop bloody voting. Because you're voting for 3 masks on the same face anyway. People, well, if I don't vote, they'll get in. But it doesn't matter because they're the same as them. They've just got a different name on the door, you know. This is what we need to do.
Yeah, thanks, David.
Big time.
People not to vote, and someone.
I mean, you know, the system is just a total scam, a total sham. And while we cooperate with it, we hold the house of cards together. You know, if we stop cooperating with it, there's a big bang behind us, and these buggers all have their bloody legs in the air. You know what I mean?
Big bangs.
It's time for a new philosophy, folks. One based on, yes, the principles of Jesus, which were love your brother as yourself, because you know what? He is yourself. Literally. We are literally all one. Okay. The body is an illusion, you see, because God doesn't create things that can be destroyed. Because He's God. Dig it? We have miscreated this world. It's a dream, man. I'll tell you what I think. The cocksucking elite who own and run everything in this fucking country are selling it out from under us tomorrow. There ain't no battle over fucking NAFTA. That's a fucking charade. Like our elections are a fucking charade. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, they're selling your fucking life out from under you. Don't you ever fucking forget it either. There's dick jokes coming up. Please relax. I knew Clinton was in with the big boys when he bombed Iraq. Do you remember that? 2-day news story. Clinton launches 22 cruise missiles on Baghdad in retaliation for the alleged failed assassination attempt against George Bush. We launched 22 $3 million apiece cruise missiles to Baghdad, killing 6 innocent people. I think that was a little overdone. You know? You know what we should have done? We should have embarrassed the Iraqis. We should have assassinated Bush. And said, that's how you do it, towelhead. Don't fuck with us. The media called it, everyone in the government media called it a cowardly act on the Iraqians' part because some Iraqi guy was going to drive a Toyota car bomb and blow himself up in the process of trying to kill the President of the United States because that's all they can really do since we are the imperialist rulers of the New World Order. And we called that a cowardly act. Meanwhile, we're launching cruise missiles 200 miles away from floating iron islands. Who are the cowards again? Okay. There's dick jokes coming out. Please relax. You know why our institutions are failing us? The church, the state, everything's failing. It's because they're no longer relevant. They're not relevant anymore. We're supposed to keep evolving. You know, evolution didn't end with us growing opposable thumbs. Did you know that? There's another 90% of our brains that we have to illuminate.
You know all that money we spend on nuclear weapons and defense every year, trillions of dollars, correct? Instead, let's play with this. If we spent that money feeding and clothing the poor of the world, and it would pay for it many times over, not one human being excluded. we could, as one race, explore outer space together in peace forever. I'm going to share with you a vision that I had because I love you, and you feel it.
It's supposed to be where your ego dissolves and you realize the true nature of our reality, which is mind, and that we literally all are one, and there's no such thing as death, and our bodies are an illusion, and God's eternal love is unconditional, and never have we left it other than the dream of the fall from grace, which is just an illusionary dream, and never has God really loved us, and we can wake up and remember God's eternal unconditional love.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.